News alert on how recreational marijuana could be regulated in Colorado. The Amendment 64 task force just releasing its recommendations within the last half hour or so. And they include how pot should be grown, how it should be sold, and how it should be taxed. 7 News reporter Tyler Lopez sat in on that announcement. He joins us now with a breakdown of the latest. Tyler?
Mitch, it's going to be extremely complicated, and you certainly have to appreciate the work done by this task force, only put together in December by the governor. They've been working long and hard hours to make sure they have these recommendations ready. They started with 100 of them, now down to 58 recommendations that will now be given to the Attorney General, to the governor, and to lawmakers. Now it's their job at the Capitol to move on beyond the gun bills and start working on marijuana legislation, which is what this task force believes they can do. They say they're proud of their work, and they do feel they had enough time to do it. One of the things they considered consistently was making sure that there is child-proof packaging on the marijuana that is going to be sold in these retail shops, which is still many months away from happening. The first groups that will be allowed to get these licenses to sell retail marijuana to those 21 and over will be those who already have existing medical marijuana licenses. Another factor was the taxation. There's a 15% excise tax. We all, as voters, knew that was part of Amendment 64, but that still has to be approved through a separate Tabor initiative that they're going to ask lawmakers to send to the voters, in addition to another taxation. So one of the possibilities that you could be looking at maybe 40% taxation rate on marijuana. But as Jack Finlaw for the governor's office mentioned, a member of the task force, that's going to be a lot less than what we're seeing in Washington state, the only other state that has ventured this far in the United States so far. They've got a 75% tax structure. So the way he put it is, I think this is a gift we're giving to the legislature. Just a few minutes ago, I also had a chance to talk with someone who's going to be in charge of trying to put all this together at the Capitol. Senator Sherry John, she's going to be vice chair. Their first meeting will be Friday to take a look at these recommendations. She's hoping they can get this all done and get the votes taken on these measures in 2 to 3 weeks. It's an aggressive timetable, no doubt, but she's confident they can get it done. They do plan to take the 58 recommendations, put them together into one large omnibus bill, and hope that lawmakers can vote on it possibly in 2 to 3 weeks, and then voters would have to deal with the sales tax questions in November, again, if those are presented correctly, and they get that done and get that in front of the voters. But a lot of things to consider, and certainly a lot of pride on the members of the task force that they were able to get this far in such a short amount of time. Live downtown, Tyler Lopez, 7 News.
Lots of things to go over. Thank you, Tyler. Now, that's the task force. The legislative committee that will set marijuana laws for the state has set some meeting dates. The first meeting is going to be this Friday. The second set for the next Friday, the 22nd. The committee is made up of members of both the House and the Senate. These meetings will look at the recommendations from the governor's pot task force.